The screech of high-pressure water slamming against metal yanked me out of bed at 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday. My heart raced as I stumbled to the window, still half asleep, expecting to enjoy a rare morning of peace after a brutal workweek. Peering through the curtains, I froze. There, in my driveway, stood a woman in khaki shorts and a polo shirt, an HOA badge gleaming on her chest, power washing my 3-month-old Tesla with the intensity of a drill sergeant. My jaw hit the floor. Who was this stranger dousing my car? I threw on a hoodie and jeans, nearly tripping as I bolted outside. "Hey, what you doing?" I shouted, trying to keep my voice steady despite the anger bubbling inside. The woman, Linda Harper, barely glanced my way, her power washer roaring as it sprayed a sharp-smelling chemical mix across my car's sleek surface. "Your car's been collecting dust for days," she said, her tone dripping with self-righteous certainty. "It's an eyesore. Section 8, paragraph 4 of the covenant demands vehicles stay clean." She turned to face me, water still blasting from the nozzle, her expression practically daring me to thank her. "I'm doing you a favor." I'd only moved into Maple Grove 3 months ago, drawn by its pristine lawns and quiet charm. The HOA rules seemed fair enough: keep your trash bins in, mow your lawn, nothing wild. As a software developer working from home, I craved that calm. I'd followed every rule to the letter, wanting to blend into this picture-perfect community. But my first HOA meeting, Linda stood out. She dominated the room, quoting bylaws like scripture while others shrank in her presence. Her handshake was a VYC grip, her smile cold. "Keep your property in line, and we'll get along," she'd said, her words more threat than welcome. Over the weeks, I heard whispers about Linda from neighbors. She was the HOA president, 5 years running, and ruled with an iron fist. Surprise inspections, hoke fines for grass half an inch too tall, notes scolding people for VY Cybele garden hoses. She was relentless. I thought I'd stayed off her radar, but here she was, attacking my Tesla with her industrial-grade power washer. The chemical stench stung my nose, and faint scratches already marred the paint. "Stop right now," I said, stepping closer. "You're trespassing and damaging my property." Linda jerked the hose away, accidentally soaking my shirt. "I'm the HOA president," she snapped, her voice thick with condescension. "I have every right to enforce standards. Your car was filthy." She pointed to my dripping Tesla, now speckled with water spots. "I left 3 notices in your mailbox about vehicle maintenance. You ignored them, so I handled it." I hadn't seen a single notice, but arguing felt pointless. "Leave now, or I'm calling the police," I said, pulling out my phone. Linda scoffed, shutting off the washer with deliberate slowness. "Go ahead. My brother-in-law's a sergeant. They know me at the station." She sauntered off, dragging her equipment, Leah VYing me fuming beside my damaged car. The scratches were undeniable, tiny but real, etched into the paint by her reckless spraying. My hands shook as I snapped photos, rage mixing with disbelief. This was my property, bought with years of hard work, and she'd vandalized it under the guise of standards. The next Monday, I came home from a grocery run to find my car soaked again, water pooling beneath it, that same chemical stink lingering. My doorbell camera, angled toward the door, caught nothing. That afternoon, I installed security cameras covering every inch of my driveway. 3 days later, my phone pinged at 5:45 a.m. There was Linda, caught in crystal-clear footage, power washing my car again. I saved the VY Deo and called the non-emergency police line. Later, when I showed her the screenshots, she didn't even blink. "I was doing the community a favor," she said, arms crossed. "Your car had road dust from yesterday. It lowers property values." Then she handed me an envelope. "By the way, here's your fine for those unauthorized cameras. Section 12, paragraph 9. I took it, my blood boiling, but stayed calm. "We'll discuss this at the next HOA meeting," I said. The meeting was a sham. Linda's cronies filled the board, dismissing my complaint in minutes. President Harper acted within her authority, the secretary mumbled, avoiding my eyes. I left feeling defeated, questioning why I'd moved here. But in the parking lot, an elderly man approached. "Walter, a retired veteran who'd lived in Maple Grove for 15 years, spoke softly. "Don't take it personal, son. She's been like this forever. Last summer, she hacked my rose bushes to bits because they were unruly. Ruined a decade of work." Walter wasn't alone. Neighbors shared horror stories. Linda measuring fences in backyards, snatching kids' toys from porches, even repainting someone's mailbox while they were on vacation because she hated the color. Most had given up fighting her, worn down by her relentless control. But then Linda across the line. Walter's 1967 military truck, a pristine relic of his 30-year Army career, was his pride and joy. One morning, he found Linda scrubbing its custom insignia with solvent, claiming it broke rules against vehicle decorations. The scratches and ruined decal left Walter, a stoic 72-year-old, on the verge of tears. That was it. This wasn't just about my car and Maria, it was about stopping a bully. I set up an online forum for residents to share their stories. Within days, 27 households contributed photos, videos, and copies of absurd fines. Some had filed police reports years ago, only to be discouraged by HOA pressure. We compiled a dossier of Linda's trespassing, vandalism, and harassment. Instead of going to the HOA, where Linda's influence would bury it, we took it to the police. A detective's eyes widened as she EU'd our EVY denke. "This isn't enforcement," she said. "This is criminal trespass, vandalism, maybe even stalking." Word spread, and more neighbors came forward, emboldened. Linda, sensing the shift, doubled down, issuing violation notices and scheduling inspections. But her time was up. One Tuesday morning, I glanced out my window to see two officers at Linda's pristine colonial house. They showed her a document of warrant, I'd bet. Her face twisted from shock to fury to fear as they cuffed her and led her to the patrol car. My phone buzzed with texts from neighbors watching the scene. Walter called, his voice almost gleeful. "They've got her for trespass, vandalism, and property damage. Her brother-in-law, just a parking cop in another county." Linda's arrest was the talk of Maple Grove. The DA made an example of her, citing years of abuse under the pretense of authority. She got 6 months probation, due law $15,000 in restitution, and a lifetime ban from HOA boards. The judge added 40 hours of community cleaning graffiti in public parks, a fitting irony. In court, Linda whispered, "But I was protecting property values," her voice hollow. No one stood by her. The power she'd clung to for years vanished, VYing a woman who'd mistaken tyranny for leadership. The neighborhood felt lighter, like a storm had passed. We'd reclaimed our voice, pro-VYing no one's above accountability. But it left me wondering, how far should HOA rules go? Should one person ever have that much power? And what would you do if someone like Linda targeted your home? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if this story got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more tales of justice. Let's keep this conversation going. What's the worst HOA horror story you've heard?